Hi, Bad Gamer here. You don't own your games anymore.
What?
That copy of Doom you just bought, that's a plastic box with 85 megabyte on it. That new Switch game, that's a QR code in a box. And if their servers ever go down, all of it disappears. And then, what do? Every year, fewer discs, fewer cartridges, fewer manuals, fewer boxes on the shelves. Now we have download codes that are pretending to be ownership and a hollow promise from the industry that this is better. If you think this is just about discs and nostalgia, stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll understand how the slow death of physical games is quietly rewriting gaming culture as we know it. Also, apparently 90% of you are watching are not subscribed, which means you're basically digitally renting this channel too. Jokes aside, if you want more unfiltered takes, no algorithm bait, become part of Bad Gamer Enterprise by hitting that button. Thank you. Let's start with the obvious. Yes, digital is more convenient. Yes, digital is often cheaper. Yes, digital allows indie devs to reach global markets without needing a warehouse. I've bought a bunch of digital games myself. I've downloaded day one patches bigger than my entire PlayStation 2 game library. I'm not above digital convenience, but the convenience isn't the issue. The issue is that digital-only gaming has quietly transformed the relationship between gamers and their games. From ownership to access, from preservation to licensing, from culture to content. And when we start trading permanence for platform control and calling that progress, we're not just watching physical games disappear. We're watching gaming itself be redefined. Let's take a closer look at the Doom situation. The PlayStation 5 edition contains a grand total of 85 MB. Basically a glorified access token. The rest of the game online, mandatory download. Your disc is worthless if you don't have access to the internet. And this is Doom, ladies and gentlemen, a game that once fit on floppy disks. Bro, people have gotten Doom to run on a pregnancy test. But now the PlayStation 5 edition is too large to exist on a disc? What are we talking about here? Xbox. No one is more aggressive about abandoning physical media than Xbox. Game Pass is the center of their ecosystem now, and while Game Pass is undeniably a great deal in the short term, it's also a system that trains players to rent everything and own nothing. PlayStation. PlayStation has at least pretended to care about physical media, where Insomniac, for example, the latest thing I can remember, with Spider-Man 2 back then, would be fully playable on a disc. But those full disc releases are becoming the exception, right? We've gone from full games with manuals to bare bones boxes that don't even pretend to be special. You remember manuals, man? Now we maybe get a QR code. And then there is Nintendo, my favorite. Oh, Nintendo. You're walking into a retail store, you're paying full price, and you're leaving with an empty case and a string of numbers. I mean, Nintendo is selling you a digital game in a physical space. And that's just to keep stores involved, just enough to stay profitable while removing all production costs. And somehow, Cyberpunk 2077, which is a gigantic content blow that came, is getting a proper physical release with all DLC included, while Tetris 2 is digital only.
You're breathtaking!
It's not about the size, it's about priorities, and most of the industry has decided that physical games aren't worth the trouble anymore. I think that what we're losing isn't just product, we're losing experience. There's something inherently communal about physical games. The act of sharing, trading, displaying, collecting. The shelf becomes a story of your journey as a gamer. Each box a memory, each manual a piece of history. Digital games, they're convenient, but they're invisible. They can disappear with a server outage or an update. When a physical game is yours, you can play it, lend it, sell it, or just keep it on a shelf for 30 years. When a digital game is yours, it's yours until the system decides otherwise, right? For me, this is more than nostalgia. This is about cultural memory. In film, music, literature, we preserve art through physical media, vinyl records, Blu-ray collector boxes, hardback books. But in gaming, we've allowed ourselves to believe that a license is good enough, that your digital backlog is somehow safer or more permanent than a cartridge in your hand. Again, to be fair, digital only has created opportunities for indie devs and small studios, because not having to produce physical media can be a lifeline. Games like Palworld or Hades exploded thanks to word of mouth, not shelf space, right? And for some projects, a digital-only release makes complete sense. It lowers costs. It gets the game to players faster. It enables global reach, right? But Here's the problem. That digital access still depends on platform and infrastructure outside of the developer's control. So if Xbox or Sony decides to pull a game, there's little a small dev can actually do. And if they can't afford to print physical editions, then once it's gone, it's truly gone. Truth is, physical games are inconvenient for corporations. They cost money to produce. They limit platform control. They complicate analytics, and they empower players to own something in a world that increasingly wants you to just subscribe and comply. Look, I get it. Physical games aren't going to save the industry, right? They're not going to reverse the trends or make gaming magically better, but they're a symbol of something deeper. A time when games were things you could hold and share, treasure, and pass down. I worry we're heading into a future where gaming loses its texture, where games become another subscription fee, another download. I really don't want that. I want generations of gamers to know what it felt like to buy a game at midnight. To open a case and find something real inside. To own something that, can't be patched out or revoked. To understand that games like films, like music, like books are art, not just content. But yeah, that's my take. Let me know yours in the comments. Subscribe. Bad Gamer out.